today's lecture is with respect to the chapter number 1 of the 9th standard. So the chapter name is Matter in Our Surroundings. That means bache, anything that you can see in your surrounding is known as what? Matter. Like this chalk, this board, the walls, this table, these these glasses of water, okay, this spoon, they all are what bache? Of metal. Like fan, table, chair, each and everything that is having what? A mass. That is having what bache? Mass and occupy some space. Occupy what? Some space in the area. Okay, space, or you can say that the volume. Space and volume, you can say that. That means what is a matter? The definition of matter is anything having mass and occupy some space in the universe is known as what? Matter. Is known as what? Matter. So the whole universe, can you imagine the whole universe is made up of just only the two things? What? The universe is made up of only two things. First is a matter and the second one is energy. That means bache, each and everything in the universe is either in the form of what? Matter or in the form of energy. Okay. So this is regarding the universe. Now question should come in your mind that what is a matter? We have already discussed anything having mass and occupy some space is known as what? Matter. Okay. So now regarding this energy, the capacity to do any work is known as what? Is known as energy. That means you eat food, the food is getting converted into what? Energy, and then this energy you can use to do some work. So regarding the universe is composed of what? The matter as well as energy. Very good. So the next point is matter is composed of. Matter is composed, or you can say that made up of what? Particles. This is a statement given by the scientist. But now, being a science student, you should raise the question that why matter is made up of particles? Why it is not a whole body? Whole body means bache, like a wooden block. The wooden block is a solid in nature, okay? And it is a whole thing. But this matter is made up of what? The particles. And how will come to know? Like this, here you can see with an activity, I am having this glass of water, okay? Just mark the level of water in the glass, okay? And if I am going to add the solid thing, for example this spoon is solid in nature. If I am going to add the spoon into the water, the level of water in the glass, what? It rises because it is a solid thing. But if I am going to add a pinch of salt, the common salt that is easily available at your house, if you are going to add this common salt into the water, it's going to dissolve completely. And what you can see is the level of water doesn't rise that much that it rises in the case of the spoon. What does it mean? It means that this salt or the matter, it is made up of particles. So here you can see on the board, this is a glass half filled with water. So water is a matter because it is having a mass as well as occupy some space. So this is what? Water. And what we are going to add into the salt? A pinch of salt, or you can say that the half teaspoon of salt. So this salt is also a matter. So it is also composed of what? Small particles. What happens when we are going to dissolve this salt into water? These salt particles, which are very small in size, they settle down in the spaces that present between the molecules of water. That means in between the two molecules of water, some space is there, and the salt molecule is going to settle in this very space. And in chemistry, the space is known as intermolecular space. That means the space between these two molecules. Okay. So from this very activity, what will come to know? That matter is made up of particles. Now the second point, the size of particles. Regarding what? The size of particles. the size of these particles are very big or they are very small. So again, for this we have to do an activity. Okay. But if the size of the particles of matter, for example here, this board is a metal. Okay. It is composed of what? The small particles. And these small particles, are they visible with your naked eyes? No, they are not visible with your naked eyes. That means they are very, very small in nature. So, particles of matter are very small. Are very what, bache? Are very small in nature. This is the second point of the lecture. The first point is matter is made up of particles, and the second point is the particles of metals are very, very small in size. So how you will come to? Again, we are going to perform another activity. So like the blue dye, you all are having the blue color or the blue dye at your homes. You can do this activity at your home also. So I am just going to take a pinch of this blue dye and I am going to dissolve it in the glass of water. Okay. What you can see here, the color of the water changes to blue. Firstly, it is what? Transparent in nature, but when I added a very pinch of blue dye in it, it's got what color? Blue in color. Again, if I am going to take 1 teaspoon of this blue color and going to add into the another glass, only 1 teaspoon. Okay. So again, is there any change in the color of water? Yes or no? Yes, there is a change in color of water just because of the dye. If I am going to repeat this experiment further on, then again, if I am going to add a very little drop of this colored dye into the water, then the color of the water is going to change and it turns blue. Although the color of the water is going to be fainted. Okay. So that means, bache, this pinch of dye, it contains a millions of molecules into it. That's why the color of the water turns to blue. Okay, and subsequently it keeps on changing. So the second observation is the particles of metal are very, very small. Again, the third thing which we are going to discuss today is about the particles nature. That means we came to know about the two things. The third point. The third point is there is a space between the two particles. That means space present between particles of metals. As I have already drew this diagram on the board, like here, the two molecules of water, there is a very small distance between them. They are not completely or they are not packed closely. So there is a space and this salt particles settle down into the spaces. That's why the level of water doesn't rise that much. That shows that there is a space present between the particles. Fourth important point that we are going to discuss today is the particles of matter. The particles of matter, they are attached to each other with an attractive force. To each other with an attractive force. Attractive force. So that means there is a force of attraction between the particles of matter. Force of attraction between the particles of matter. Space is already there. The size is very, very small. And again, they are going to attract each other. How we are going to conclude that they are going to attract each other? A very simple example. Okay. Like I am having this hairpin. Okay. It is made up of what? Iron. And it is very rigid. It is very solid in nature. On the other side, I am having this chalk. Okay. If I am going to hammer both these things, which one is going to convert into the powder form? This iron egg or this chalk? Obviously, this chalk is going to convert into the into the powder form. Why? Because the strength of force, how they are attracted to each other, how strong the attractive force is. It depends upon the nature of the particles. The attraction of force between the particles of this hairpin made up of iron is very strong. That's why on hammering it is not going to convert into powder form. But on the other hand, in this chalk, these particles are also attached to each other with the force, but this force is very weak in nature. That's why on hammering this chalk is going to convert into what? The powder form. Okay. So the third, that means the strength of this force depends upon the nature of the constituent particles of the metal. For example, what we have discussed about the chalk, or you can say that any iron object or the rubber band. So the strength of the attractive forces between these three things are very different. The strength of the force of attraction very strongly in one, the iron object, secondly rubber band, and the third is chalk. Okay, are you getting my point? That means there is a force of attraction between the particles, and the strength of this force of attraction depends upon the nature of the particles. Very good. So now the fifth point. Are the particles of any metal, are they stable, constant, or are they continuously moving or dynamic in nature? So the particles of metal are in constant motion. Are in what? Constant motion. That means each and every particle of metal is constantly moving, is dynamic in nature. Great. So how we are going to come to know that? How we made this observation? Again, if we are going to light up an incense stick, or you can say that the agarbatti. Okay, if you are going to light it up, what you are going to observe? That the smell and the fragrance of that agarbatti, you can feel it from the each and every corner of your house. Okay, that means what happens? The particles of that agarbatti or the incense stick, they are going to constantly moving. They are constantly in motion. So they spread in all of your homes and in all the rooms because they are moving. Similarly, again another example, you can take the fragrance of the food. Okay, when the food is hot, you can feel the fragrance from a very large distance, because if it is hot, the particles of metal are constantly moving, and if it is hot, that means the energy of these particles is very high. What is the main difference between a hot food and a cold one? The main difference is the temperature. Hot food is having a higher temperature as compared to the cold one. Okay. So, I am now going to relate this thing with the temperature part. So, hot food versus what? The cold one. In the case of hot food, the temperature is high or low as compared to the cold one. Here, the temperature is high, temperature is low. And we already discussed that the particles of metal are in constant motion. That means they are moving. So now we are going to relate the motion of these particles with the temperature. So if something is moving, they are constantly moving in this direction, and I am going to increase the temperature. What is going to happen? The energy of this particle is going to increase. That means energy of this particle is going to increase. If I am going to heat the water, okay, after some time it is going to convert into what? The vapors. Why? Because the water molecules gaining the energy, they become energetic, and with the excess of energy they just want to release it, because each and everything in the universe wants what? The stability. Okay. So they also want the stability, the water molecules. So that's why it turns into what? The gaseous form. Okay, and spread into the atmosphere. Very good. So on increasing the temperature, the energy of each and everything going to increase. They become unstable. They just want to release this energy to become stable. So that's why this energy is now going to convert into what? Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is, bache, when something is moving. So the energy I am going to utilize in moving is the kinetic energy. If I am stationary at my position, that means my complete energy is in the form of what? Potential energy. But if I am moving, I am running, I am walking, that means I am going to convert my energy into what? The kinetic form. So on increasing the temperature, energy increases. The particle of the hot food, they start moving faster and faster as compared to the cold food. That's why the fragrance of the hot food you can feel very strong on a larger distance as compared to the cold food. Okay. And the third one is what? A diffusion. So the term is, scientific term is diffusion. What is a diffusion? Diffusion stands for the intermixing of the particles of two different things by themselves. That means you are not going to provide any external force to mix those two things. Like here an example of this agarbatti or incense stick, you can say that when we are going to light it up, the particles of this thing is going to spread into the atmosphere and they are going to mix with what? Air particles. They are going to mix with what? Air particles. So the intermixing of two things by themselves is known as what? Is known as diffusion. So the crux of the lecture is, first, matter. Anything that occupies space and has mass is known as matter. Second thing, matter is made up of particles, of very small particles. Size of particles are very small. Very good. Third thing, there is a space present between the two particles of the matter. Fourth, there is a force of attraction between the two particles of the matter. And fifth thing is, the particles of the matter, they are in constant motion. They are not stationary in nature. They are constant in motion. Okay. Now again, in your NCERT books, there is a textual question. Okay. Now we are going to some of these textual questions. We are going to discuss about it. The first one is, there are the things that are listed, okay, in your book, and these things are, classify which of the following is a matter and which of the following is not a matter. Firstly, it is a chair. Is chair a matter? To check whether it is a matter or not, you have to check these two things, mass as well as space. Chair is having any mass? Yes, it is having the mass. Is chair going to occupy some space? Yes, it is going to occupy the space. That means it is a matter. Again, the next one is hate. Hate, that means the feeling of hatred to the another person. Okay. So the feeling of hate. Hate is hate having any mass? That means is your feeling having any mass? No, they are not having any mass. They are going to occupy some space in this physical world. No, they are not going to occupy the space in the physical world. That means they are not matter. Okay. So there are another few things that are listed. So you can judge by yourself whether it is a matter or whether it is. The second question is regarding the hot and the cold food. We have already discussed it, why the fragrance of hot food can be felt to a larger distance. The third part is why the divers, that means while swimming, how you are able to cut the water. Because there is a gap present between the two molecules. Okay, that's why it is very easy for you to cut the particles or cut the molecules of water. Just because of the space present between the molecules, that is intermolecular space. And the last is regarding the characteristics. What matter made up of particles? Very good. The size of the particle is very small. There is a force of attraction between the particles. There is a space present between these two particles. And the fifth and the last is, the particles of matter are constantly in motion. They are dynamic in nature. So these are the things which we discussed in our lecture. Okay, Ruchi? So the lecture number 2, we are going to continue this same chapter. Okay, beta? And all these things you have to write in your notebook. Okay, I am going to give you the notes in the WhatsApp group. So there you have to write it in your notebooks. Okay, beta? Thank you.